Now, Peter, in the film, you claim that Josephus allegedly wrote about Jesus, and you said that that's allegedly a fraud. But isn't it true that he actually did write about Jesus, and that people just went later on and actually embellished what he had wrote and expanded on it?
Well, it depends on how you choose to interpret it. There are about 13 different references to different Jesuses. There's 13 different Jesuses in Josephus's works. Now, the golden paragraph that people speak of, where he talks about Jesus, and he makes these references to his miracles, and it's a very adamant type of reference, which, of course, by the way, is completely contrary to his belief system, and I'm not going to even go into that, but he out of reason, he would never have written that stuff. But the most incredible evidence is that there are numerous other historians that read all of his works when he wrote them, and that quote didn't appear until 200 years later after he died. And I can go
and understand that it was the embellishment. It was the embellishment.
Clement of Alexandria. All of these guys read Josephus's works. They're all Christian. None of them referenced this paragraph. That's one of the main reasons. It's also been throughout history. It's 1400s. I can't remember the historian's name, but there have been books written, incredibly scholarly works, talking about the very fact that this is an interpolated text. They added that paragraph in. And all the other Jesuses are completely commonality. They have nothing to do with anything. They're not related to the Christ or the Gospels whatsoever.
Now, you do list off a bunch of first-century writers that you claim that none of them have referenced Jesus, but I do have a list of a bunch of people here that do reference him. Clement, Bishop of Rome, Polycarp, Bishop of Samaria,
Ignatius. Do you have those quotes on hand?
Excuse me?
Because all of those are one-liners that are so exceptionally ambiguous. You have Suetonius, Tacitus, Pliny the Younger. All these guys have these weird interjections in their books, usually one or two sentences. They make reference to Christos, which means the anointed one, which has absolutely nothing to do with any Jesus. There are numerous Christs all throughout history. You know, the catacombs of Rome and see that. Christ means the anointed one. Jesus Christ is not a real name. I'm sure you know that. Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus Christ is a reference to title. Mm-hmm. So, when someone says Christos as Tacitus, Pliny the Younger, and Suetonius, it means nothing. As far as the other references you have, I'd have to see those. I've looked through all of the one-liners and all the little blurbs that people choose to claim, Clement and all of them, and they're so ambiguous. You can't possibly sit there with any kind of logic and think and use that as a defense for this man who cited throughout the Bible in the New Testament. You have at least 13 or 14 different sources in the Bible that talk about all the people that crowded around that were affected by the earthquake and Jesus rising into the air and the blackening of the sun and the raising of the dead. None of them talk of any of that. I mean, you can go to Philo. There's a man named Philo.
Peter, they didn't have CNN back then. It's not like the entire country.
When Jesus was having his ministry and was crucified. Philo has elaborate historical works. He was actually a follower of the Jewish tradition of prophecy and was expecting the Logos, the Word, to appear. And if anybody would have cited this person, this Logos, the representation, the coming prophecy, the Son of God coming, he would have documented this like crazy. He doesn't make a mention of it. He doesn't mention any of it. He even mentions the historical figures in and around that were later interpolated into the Bible, such as Herod and Pilate. There's at least 20 other really well-documented historians where they lived exactly during the period. They don't say a word, and all those little one-liners, you can't possibly hold that up and think that justifies what the Bible claims. At least I don't.
Well, how is it if Jesus never even existed, if he wasn't even a prominent, let's say, call him a prominent rabbi or a prophet of the day, like you're claiming, how is it that the Illuminati and other secret societies actually believe that they are physical descendants of them, so much so that it's spawned an entire works and these alleged family trees? I mean, is that all just, how would they come up with this? And then how does the Illuminati themselves believe that Jesus existed and that he was just an initiate in the mysteries from hanging out with the Essenes, and that he was elevated and enlightened and told the secrets of the mystery schools? How is it that they actually believe that, because they say he's not God, but they say that he at least existed and that he was in these mystery schools and he was a prophet and he was teaching the secrets from the mystery schools to the masses? I mean, you have this huge conflict here, Peter.
Well, yes and no. It depends on how you choose to think about it. First of all, I'm talking about Jesus of the canonical Gospels as dictated by the canonical Gospels, as described. Jesus, the son of Mary. If you want to be a moderate Christian, and this is an aside, and say, oh, Jesus existed, he was just a nice guy who walked around, he had a ministry, and such and such. Well, that is not even remotely close to anything in relationship to the Bible. Now, in regards to the Illuminati, first of all the information from that is highly suspect because you're dealing with a completely lying criminal cult. It's really laughable. If you read Thomas Paine, who was a 33rd degree Freemason, very familiar with the Illuminati, he goes in and describes how Christianity was the throwaway religion, throwaway solar cult. The Freemasons had their Horus, they had their sun worship, which they still do to this day. Bohemian Grove, they worship Moloch, just another sun god. They're all sun gods, all of them. And they threw out Christianity to the masses in an amusement after they historized him. Thomas Paine denotes this. This is a founding father. He was extremely intelligent. He writes prolifically and very genius-oriented. He's profound that he even revealed this stuff to us. Now, in regards to your claim of the Illuminati, I have to plead a certain degree of ignorance on that because I don't believe anything that comes out of their mouth. I don't believe, first of all, the Illuminati in and of itself is probably divided into so many different sects at this point.
Sure.
And what information is available is probably so dated in regards to how it actually operates to this day. In the end, in the broad stroke of things, the Illuminati is just another solar cult. And they have really nasty interests as opposed to the general moderate Christian interests. They believe in dark elements, if you want to give it that type of term, and they practice their very, very ancient, original, sacrificial type of rituals. I mean, as far as the bloodline from Jesus and all that crap, it's nonsense. It's pure nonsense.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's put there to make you think that there's a magical bloodline that should rule the world, and no one should believe any of that crap. It's pure garbage.
Well, no, I'm almost on board with you there because, and I want to get into this aspect too. You say that Christians talking about the end times is a misinterpretation, and we're going to be shifting into this new age every 2,150 years. There's supposedly a new solar god that takes the place of the previous solar god, and I almost think that you're a pawn of the Illuminati by just trying to discredit Christianity, trying to mislead everybody into thinking that the religion is just a bunch of garbage. And I think that the phony bloodline, which I don't believe exists, I would agree with you on that. It's a myth to believe that there is a magical bloodline to rule the world, and I believe that the Antichrist is going to come out of that supposed bloodline so that they can say that he's a reincarnation, literally and spiritually, of Jesus. And we're going to take a break, Peter. On the other side, I want to get into if you believe in an Antichrist, if you believe that the Illuminati is going to bring an individual, a Hitler-like person, to the surface that will rule planet Earth. But stay tuned. We've got to take a break here, and we'll get into it on the other side.